for like the editing process. Like there's certain
y'all, when the world opens up, how are we gonna get back to an hour or like an hour and 15?
I know. I don't know. We'll find a way.
Look, we're gonna have to be like the moderators and start cutting mics and shit.
Right.
Wrap those cords up.
Not like that.
We gotta go.
Not like that.
Right.
Pulling it out the wall.
Look.
Yes, get those amplifiers up over there before somebody gets shot.
Seriously, like it's time to go.
Yeah.
King Combs, IG wearing the Fenty underwear.
Yeah, that's the one I saw.
Of who?
Puff Daddy.
Chris Combs, Puff Daddy's son. Christian Combs.
Okay.
It's in your IG.
Look just like Puff Daddy.
Oh, it's on IG. Okay.
Like is Diddy reincarnated?
Basically.
Yeah.
Like them some strong ass jeans.
Oh, but he cuter though.
Yeah, he is cuter than his dad though.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is Eve with Upright with Eve, the podcast. What's good, aunties? What's brewing today?
Introducing AunTea D'ussé.
Ask your aunties. I feel petty, oh so petty.
And these damn debates. So get your cups ready for Minority Report.
Hello.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey.
Doing well. Got something in my eye that quick, man. Sheesh. But don't even go there yet. I wish.
The devil is a liar, huh? Like your shirt says, the devil is a liar.
I wish, but it felt like an eyelash. But anyway, that was weird. Everyone doing well today?
Oh yeah,
we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Needed
How about you?
I'm hanging in there. I really am. We'll get to it. Obviously, we record on Wednesday, so we know what happened on Tuesday. So, but I'm hanging in there.
Tuesday.
Right, going down on a Tuesday. But community, if you hear our fourth voice, and before we get there too, subscribe, hit the bell and the like button and all that stuff, because you know we're on YouTube
Wherever
now.
that is.
Right. Over there, right here. Usually it bounces right there, so we'll see.
What? It bounces down here? Is that what you're saying? It bounces like this?
I wish
And then she said she has something in her eye.
Okay, right.
Hey, I wish again. I wish that was the case right now. But we have a fourth voice again.
Yes, we do.
We have Eve from It's Upright with Eve podcast, right? There we go.
That is correct. Upright with Eve
Yes,
podcast.
welcome, boo. Welcome.
Like the shit you tell
I've been
my
looking
radio,
forward
get
to
yourself
this
a
for
whistle,
so
Eve.
long.
Oh
Even
my
I've been
gosh,
talking for like 2 months
Love
trying to
it.
get this together for
Love
real.
it.
So I'm so glad that you're here and you're able
I'm
to
glad
share
to
with
be
the
here.
community your unique voice. I love
Absolutely.
your podcast. You be talking some crazy stuff out there.
You do.
I'm
And some
like
real
crazy.
truth.
I'm crazy, and I'm okay with that. I'm fine.
And just
with
spirits. We gonna get along because crazy like crazy, you know. We,
it. Love crazy, love it.
okay. Mhm.
I just dress it up. That's it.
That's it.
Okay. All right. See, I dress it down. So, I
I
got a
dress it
tank top
down
on.
too, but it's just like, you know, I might have some spies watching, so I got to dress it up tonight.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. She's
Hello.
like trying to be on somewhat of a behavior.
In our pre-production, I'm like emailing her and like, oh, you know, tell us about, you know, like stuff that's anything is off limits. You know, we want to be respectful. What are your pronouns and all that? And she's like, well, it depends on where I'm going. You can call me this and this during the day
or night,
but during the night it's something different.
or unlock or door lock. It just, you know, it just depends on where we're going. Light on, light off.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
And then what's your auntie name, by the way?
My auntie name is AunTea D'ussé.
Hey,
Yes,
D'ussé.
because Megan was riding boats, driving boats, or giving out boat rides. I was already drinking in 2014. So
Okay, now so before like Beyonce and all them too.
well, no, I think she was probably drinking it in the back of the Maybach with Jay-Z, but you know,
With the top off.
I was second in line. It was the second case that they sold out.
For the Maybach.
Yeah.
Off of my back, bitch.
Uh.
D'ussé, I haven't had
Do you
D'ussé in so
remember?
long.
Do you remember the first time you heard Beyonce curse like in a song?
Let me
I
think.
was just like flabbergasted because
song
Probably
was
was
it?
a kid, like a real
it
kid.
was
I'm trying
well,
to
and
think
it
what
was
song.
the album was the album where she's now you know you asked the wrong person
That's true.
when it comes to like names and shit. I can remember like the album where she has the pigtails and the roller skates and she's
Blow,
cooking in the kitchen.
Beyonce.
Right, so it's
No,
Beyonce.
no.
That album
Was the first time she was cussing.
that
with
was the first one
song?
that she
Let me
cursed.
think.
If memory serves me, that whole
That I
album.
can't recall, honestly.
Because honestly,
Yeah.
all I can hear is goddamn, goddamn, goddamn.
Right.
And like that was the first time that it really sticks out to me.
And that was like around that same era, so it might be that.
Yeah,
album.
that was
Yeah.
the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That
it
is
was
true
only
because for
downhill
a while
from
she
there.
would always bleep it out. That is true because for a while she
Yeah.
would bleep shit out or
Yeah.
like almost say it but like not say it. Yeah, you're right.
And then she started talking about surfboarding, and it was just floodgates and opened up.
I
She
stand
done
by
got
this.
She done got rid of Matthew Knowles and said, "Now I can cuss."
Right, daddy out there, daddy out there. This is what happened. I swear, if you go back and listen to those albums, she was getting cheated on then, and we didn't know it.
Facts.
Like,
yes.
if you listen to the progression of these songs,
why don't you
you're
love
like-
me?
you're like,
Tell
hold
me,
on.
baby, why don't you love me?
You've been
Yeah.
telling us this whole time Jay was
To the
cheating,
left, to the left.
and it took Lemonade for
Everything you
us to
own
realize
in a
it.
box to the left.
Seriously. I was like,
Mhm.
damn, B done gave us clues for a decade.
That's why
And
he's
she
so
been
skinny,
stuck in
because she
there.
stopped cooking when he started cheating.
Ooh.
Hey,
Ooh.
you know what?
Blue?
You
Blue?
might be
talk.
right. You
Blue,
might be
blue?
right.
Mm.
Shots fired. Pew
Oh man, but anyway, so Upright with Eve. So why did you start your podcast?
So I used to have a old podcast, and it
Okay.
did really good. I mean, it went to Germany. It was really great.
Nice.
But it talked about me and my mom's relationship. Like, she's crazy, and just a ton of things that it started to get old. So I was like, I want to start a new podcast. I thought about who I am and why that's important to me. I do find that a lot of masculine of center people, they don't really have a place, a space. We have to gather only together, you know? And to me, it's like a trip to the grocery store is different for me than it is for like my guy friends. They go, they know what they're going for. I have to sit in the parking lot and search which aisle I got to go to before I even get in there, before I have to smack somebody's grandmother. But either way, I just felt that masculine of center people, we need to be heard just amongst just more than us, like whether it's politics or sports or whether it's disciplining our kids. And I think that I joke a lot. So I think that that makes it more digestible to people, you know, healing from trauma, healing from being in a foster care system to fostering. I fostered 7 kids at 21. I also was in the foster care system, had a very abusive childhood. And I just thought, like, why not be that voice? Like, you know, I asked my friends, like, name 5 famous Black lesbians. And they're just like, well, you, Lena Waithe. And then they stop there. I'm just like, Wanda Sykes. Nobody can never really get to 5.
Yeah, no, that's true though.
You know, and I'm just like, well, why not create that lane? So I'm on the journey to create that lane. And I think that it's something that's really important. And it's a passion for me to show people that we are people too. You know, we do have opinions too. Our mental health should not be looked over. And I think that a lot of people that are on the same journey, sometimes it can be really sad. And I'm just like, it don't gotta be sad. We can joke and laugh about it, and we can heal while dealing with it, you know, but making it funny.
Yeah.
So why not? It just makes it easier.
I love that.
That's awesome. So, like you said, you sit in the car in the grocery, like going to the grocery store. Like, is it because you don't want to deal with people calling you lesbian? Like, I guess what's the reason
It's almost like
it?
I'm not supposed to come to the grocery store for food.
Really?
Like, I know I garden, so I garden. It's something that's dear to me as well, like bell peppers, kale, everything. But it's like when I have to go and get a can of corn, I have to either run into somebody looking at me like, I'm not supposed to be in this grocery store. So I'm from DC.
Mhm.
When I got married, I moved to Virginia.
Mhm.
And DC code is never moved to Virginia. You
And now
know,
you know why.
yeah. Because the things that I grew up with in DC, I didn't grow up with, homophobia. I didn't grow up with racism. If you were in DC, you were good enough, you were present enough, you were able to stand in a room with anybody else. In Virginia, it's almost like, well, if you're not going to a grocery store in a Black neighborhood, you shouldn't be buying food. And it's like, well, I may like the produce selection at Wegmans
Yeah.
over Food Lion.
Right.
Not knocking nobody at Food Lion, but I'd rather get my produce from Wegmans. And I should be able to without having someone looking as if like, oh, if she touches those pears, I may get something from her touching those pears,
Yeah, that's wild.
That is
Virginia.
wild.
I mean, but that's Virginia. That's Virginia.
They only wish they can get some of your magnificence on them.
That part.
Fact.
They need to go ahead and get into it because
Look.
I'm trying to tell you, they be looking real unmoisturized down here.
Oh, not dry.
I need to get into they
These chickens
doing
is
all the
ashing out
anti-aging.
lotion.
No, seriously, like they're doing all of these anti-aging. They need to be pro-aging because these housewives down here.
That is. So, are they doing it more because of the race part? Are they doing it more because of the
I think
lesbian
it's
part?
both.
It's a combo.
It's like, look at that Black man over there with those breasts.
No.
See,
And I'm just like, wait, like, first of all, like, I don't band. So it's like I wear a sports bra. I'm not a bander. And it's almost as if like I see people literally like pull their kids towards them. Like, okay, I'm gay. I'm not a child abductor. Relax. Like relax. Like I'm looking at your daughter because her part is crooked.
Ooh.
Not for any other reason. While you looking at me, I could have did a better part and it would have been zigzag and she would have had on barrettes.
That part.
Like
that part.
It's almost as if like it's like a rare sighting.
I got the wrong drink.
Right. It's like an album drinking
I need
zero vitamin water.
But it's almost like it's a rare sighting. And I think that since I was born and raised in DC, I'm not afraid to go into spaces where I know I may be the only Black person. Because when I go in there, so let me tell you, I go in there with my AirPods on, and sometimes I may be listening to an 80s playlist. So am I dancing while picking my produce? Yeah, I am.
Right.
So, I mean, it's like, I might as well make the best of this because I've always been taught that when you go into an environment, your energy can either bring it up or bring it down. So usually when I'm like going into that environment and I'm happy, people do greet me differently, but I still have those few bad apples that you couldn't even make apple cider with. It's just like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be buying groceries on this day. So yeah,
that's
I mean, I got a question for you. And I guess I like, because you mentioned mental health earlier too, and I'm a big fan of talking about mental health and checking in with yourselves and making sure that people around you are vibing on the same frequency. You talking about, what you're dealing with in Virginia, how do you make sure to stay balanced and leveled with yourself and not allow that to affect you? Because again, not everyone has to go through hardships like that on a daily basis. Some of us as queer Black people or queer people or whatever your ethnicity is, it may be on a every now and then basis. Right. But if you dealing with it as such as something as going to the grocery store, which is a common need for every goddamn body. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine, just having to be like, wow, bitch, I'll be ready. I'm calling DeJuan being like, sis,
get the bail money.
You gonna get the bail money, So how do you check in with yourself? Like, how you ain't burnt Virginia down? How we ain't seen you on CNN yet? Like, I'm just curious outside of the
So
podcast,
you really want to know?
I want to know. Cause
the first thing I do is I plan out 2 weeks of what I'm going to have to eat.
Okay.
I'll order 20 to 30% of that for delivery. Okay. The rest, like for my produce, I'll go out and get. The best thing that gives me like a sense of security is for those people that do that in the grocery store, because most of them are older. They're either older or they're like late 30s, early 40s. I take shit out their cart.
I love you, sis. Yes.
Oh.
Did not see that coming.
Exactly. That was like a
hard
she
no.
said, you know what I do?
I take shit out their cart, and I be putting that shit back when they're not looking, and I don't care. And I approve this message. And don't let it be like an old lady, because it's something about old people in the frozen fruit. Like I'm vegan, so I'm not even on this aisle to be over here looking at, you know what I'm saying, your Jimmy D frozen turkey sausages. You know, I'm just over here to get some onion rings and some french fries. That's it. I'm reading the back because I really do care about what they put in the breading.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always that one old person that don't want to move. Like, I know that you know that I'm standing here to get there where you are.
Right. Where you at?
So it's like, you know what? I just be like, excuse me, ma'am, can I just get right here? She's just like, sure. That little top part, I'll go in with this hand and take some out of the cart with this hand and take it with me. Boom.
I'm so here for it. I'm so all the way here for it.
And I low key, I live above a grocery store, so my black ass is thinking about trying that shit tonight. Right now, after this podcast, being like,
the best part. You get behind them in the line and watch them have to go back past you and say, excuse me, to get back past you. I stand there like a post. You need to get by? I can't hear you. Oh, excuse me. Oh, cool.
See, you don't need to plan for no 2 weeks, then you need to be in that grocery store every day. You could change the Wegmans and the Food Lions of the world.
See, but I don't like people, so that's why I try to plan for 2 weeks, because I don't even like people when I'm going in there. It's just like, it's like, oh my God, a black's here, a black guy, we don't even know what that is. Like I've literally seen people turn off their line. You have helped everybody that's then walk through here. And when I get in your line, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going on a break, sir.
Wow.
First of all, Becky, I just heard her say that your break wasn't for another 10 minutes. So cut the light back on. Don't make me put my stuff on this conveyor belt, because once 15 items or more is on the conveyor belt, you have to serve me. A lot of people don't know that. Like, I have 16 items up here. Come back.
You gonna ring me out.
You gonna ring me up today.
Or I can ring me out. I can ring you out. We can do this 1 of 3 ways.
That's so interesting.
Oh, so it's free? Oh, so I don't gotta pay?
Right.
Okay, cool. That's a blessing. We taking it.
I don't even need the bags.
Blessed be.
Right.
Blessed be.
Okay.
God.
That's interesting. Like
me.
especially living here in Atlanta now, and I guess I've just lived in like a bigger area so long now that I don't even think about this too much, especially not here in Atlanta. Like, there's black gays, black lesbians, black everybody, the whole LGBTQIA plus spectrum down here. So like, I don't, and thank God I don't really think about it too often anymore. Like, I remember being maybe kind of like right out of college and kind of like living in Indiana, like Mishawaka and South, like DeJuan knows Mishawaka and all that. I was maybe more conscious of it then, and then I was still kind of dealing with my sexuality. So like making sure my shorts weren't too short or my shirt wasn't too tight and things like that, so they could like pick me out at the grocery store at Meijer or something like that.
And look how far she's come.
You know, and here I am with the dangly earring and the short ass shorts.
Showing all the giblets.
Right, you know? And so it's just interesting still in 2020, and I shouldn't be surprised because we're in Trump country, but that you have to literally still day in, day out think that far in advance to kind of almost have some kind of peace when you go grocery shopping. And that's sad and that's upsetting. So like, how do we, because I think there's even within the black queer culture of like lesbians and black gay men, how do we support you then to make sure that you don't have to plan for 2 weeks, that maybe it's a week, unfortunately, or you could go every day? How do we support you, especially like the masculine of center community, to make sure that you feel as comfortable as possible, because that's
I
upsetting
feel
me
like
right now.
just checking in with people that you know that are masculine of center, like ask them what are their routines for grocery shopping. Because a lot of my friends that are like me, they never knew that like I go to only 2 grocery stores and I know which aisle is what. Like I've had to study the aisles so that I know I don't want to be in here for an hour. I'm going to be in here 30 minutes tops, because after 30 minutes, I know that my fuse starts to get very short. So it's like, okay, I know that I'm going to 2A, 2B. I'm going to go to produce. I'm going to go in the back. Like, I know I literally have to know where I'm going in that store so that I can keep my head down and do what I'm supposed to do. It may not help that I wear a lot of NWA shirts. That may not help.
It don't matter what you wear.
But,
you know,
but the people just be like, oh, does that say niggas with an attitude? Yeah, it does.
Like, yes, bitch.
You said it when you was talking to your
back.
neighbors. You said it about me when you were talking to your neighbors. So how come I can't wear it on my shirt and get my organic produce? But I think that checking in with your masculine or center friends like really helps to see like what tips they have. I do have an episode, I think it's episode 16, grocery shopping while masculine, that tells all of my tips, what I do, how I do it, why. It really helps. I really also believe that like what we put into our bodies during these stressful times is like really important, because it'll make up for what we go through. Like, you know, it's exhausting when we go out our door. So if we're not putting the best things in, we're already waking up half at that point.
Yeah.
So
I feel that it's unfortunate, and it just goes to remind us that you never know what somebody else is going through.
Yeah.
You never, ever, ever know what their experience is, what they're going through, what their life is like, you know, and you may be living like in the same town. You may be, you know, like having a very similar kind of like lifestyle, but you look at your neighbor and they could be dealing with stuff that you might not have no clue about.
Yeah. And that they were in the car for 30 minutes planning out their trip. Like,
facts.
That is so wild to me. And we kind of talk about privilege in it a lot in this show. And now I feel like, damn, like that's a privilege that I didn't even know I had. But now that I'm aware, I'll do better and be better. But it's just like, wow. Exactly. Wow.
Yeah. It sucks too, because like, to me, I've always felt that there's like a stereotypical, in DC, we call them doms. I think majority of Black people call them studs. Like, for like, I've always been like, okay, I'm not going to be the one that's like sagging my pants. I'm not going to be speaking like broken English and stuff like that, you know? So it's like, I try to be the best that I can in these environments, but still not compromise who I am. Right. And some days it gets really difficult. Like it's a lot of places that I've gone to that I've had altercations with, like food places, to where like I'm having to like call a friend because I'm about to go to jail. It's happened at like fast food places where it's like, okay, well, I said no this on my food, and then it comes and then they send it back and they send it out again with the same thing. And it's like, okay, it's either I'm not speaking English or I need to go in your kitchen, you know? So it's been so many different things where you can tell someone doesn't want to wait on you or doesn't want to serve you. And then it escalates at that point, like, okay, like I have a friend who is passing, and I've done a test in Home Depot. In Lowe's. I hate having to go in Lowe's because the associates at Lowe's will give me the 3rd degree. So I'll say, look, I have to go in Lowe's. I'm going to give you my list. I'm going to wait in the car. And we have done this 1,000 times. She'll go. They're helpful to her. They help her. They're pleasant. They're nice. I'll ask her, which associate did you go to? She'll tell me their name. Oh, he's in the garden center. I'll go and ask him, well, I mean, I don't really know. You know, I haven't been working here that long. Well, you told my friend that was just in here, you've been working here for 14 years because she asked you.
Wow.
Just like so many, like, it's really weird. It's really, really, really weird. But like, I mean, I used to go through it with kids when I was a kid. So it was like, are you a girl? Are you a boy? You told me you was a girl. You lied. You're a boy. I went through that. And I think that since I went through that as a kid, it doesn't land on me the same as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, with it, like, so another topic we kind of talk a lot about is just like the toxic masculinity within the Black community,
Yeah.
and then Black queer community trying to, oh, you're too femme or you're too mask. On the flip side, for you presenting more as mask, do you still get that same dynamic within the Black community, or is it kind of almost the reverse, that you're not femme enough or something like that?
I've had people ask me, do I have a period, y'all? Like
That's
what
wild.
size is your
That's
brain?
wild.
I've literally
That's
had
wild.
people ask me that, and I'm just like, what type of question is that? Like, did your
Mhm.
mom ovulate before she had you? Like, that's so stupid.
And that's
But
within like
like,
the POC community asking you that.
yes.
Wow.
I'm just like, what?
We
So
some ignorant
I've
motherfuckers.
had my share.
We are.
It's like,
Man.
damn.
Just like, it's so weird to me because I've never been one, like, I love people. I'm a people person. And when I say that, I don't care if you're pink, purple, whatever. I have friends that are Republicans. They were raised different, so they believe different things. You know what I'm saying? The way that people are programmed and the way that they're raised, the way that they're educated is the way that they walk through life until they change it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I'm not going to party with you. You can't come in my house. But, you know, I still may say hi to you if I see you out in public. I'm not going to be an idiot.
Mhm.
The way that you
Right.
were raised and the way that you choose to walk through life and the thing that you've seen is the way that you are. The same as me until I actually changed it. Like, I grew up where a lot of people in my family use drugs, drink alcohol habitually to the point where it has destroyed their lives. I chose not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But if I would not have chose to go a different path, I would have been the exact same way.
Right. That's wild. Well, I'm glad you're around and giving voice to this, because this is
Same.
stuff that a lot of people are either scared to talk about, honestly, because it might bring up other pain and trauma that they've either not dealt with or don't want to deal with, or if they have gotten over it, they just don't want to revisit, you know, and so they kind of just suck it back
Yeah.
away and they go on about their business. So thank you for talking about this, because even for someone like me that thought I knew a lot, to hear it this way, I'm like, wait, time out, hold on. This
Totally
is insane
different.
to me. It's so
Yeah.
totally different.
Yeah, can
But
I
this
say
is-
something?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Go for it.
I've noticed that, and this is just like within, for masculine Black lesbians, I've noticed that for some reason, we don't want to talk about our traumas, but we want to show up as fathers. We want to show up as husbands. We want to show up as all of these different things. And it's like, how are we able to effectively do that in a healthy way without passing those traumas on to our kids, to the people that we raise or foster or adopt? How do we properly do that if we don't actually address these things? And I really think that the Black community says, hey, you know, just, you know, it's all right. You know, all moms are crazy. And it's just like, yeah, to a certain extent, you know, if your mom said that she envisioned throwing you out the window, that's a little bit past crazy.
Well, and we also, just specifically in the Black community, we have romanticized fatherhood because a lot of folks grow up without fathers altogether. So they have no
Yeah.
idea
That's so
what
true.
fatherhood is.
Yeah.
You know, they have no idea what, you know, effective parenting from both sides of their parents really looks like, because a lot of people in our communities have grown up without, you know, whether it's within the same household or even outside of the same household, without, you know, their two parents in their lives. And, you know, and we learn so much from our parents. You know, they're our first teachers, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's that law that says, you know, you attract what you know, so, you know, if you know trauma, you're going to attract trauma. You're going to continue to perpetuate trauma, you know, to the people that are around you. And you're going to attract people that bring that same kind of energy. And it's hard for people who don't have the upbringing and the skills and the knowledge from wherever it comes from to address, you know, the generational trauma that a lot of us experience, and even just the personal trauma that happens within the context of us growing up, you know, that negates this idea that we should seek out help.
Yeah.
You know,
Or
that
even
we
the
know
curiosity
what
to
it
want to
is.
seek. Yeah.
And the other part of it is, in the Black, specifically in the Black community, we are adverse to, to go into doctors and specifically to anyone that is serving us from a mental health perspective, and that becomes problematic because we then learn generationally to compartmentalize things and to put the things that we don't like on the back burner, behind us, behind the closed door. Oh, that's cousin so-so. They don't ever come out of that room. We learn to lock things away instead of dealing with it in a very upfront kind of way.
And
so
sadly, a lot of it came from slavery. Like, we literally during slavery, you didn't get the means to do it. And then day in, day out, you're literally trying to survive, trying not to get whipped, trying not to get killed, trying not to snitch on the next person because, if they might get killed. And it's so jumbled and messy. But we need to learn now that, hey, we're free, kind of, in this country. That's a whole nother topic. But it's okay to untangle this web now. That, and it's okay to ask for the help. It's okay to acknowledge that it's fucked up.
The cool thing about
let's grow from it.
The cool is there are Eve that are out there that are talking about their own experience and sharing openly about dealing with personal trauma and dealing with things that not everybody's talking about. And I think when you have someone who's willing to step into their own truth and share their truth, no matter how painful it is, no matter how dark it is, you always find that ends up helping other people because it helps people to realize that they're not alone. Their situation may be different or maybe exactly the same, but they are not alone. And so, I know we made a conscious decision last year with our podcast that we wanted to bring on other voices just for that particular fact that we come from one perspective, our own unique perspectives, a lot of similarities, but we also recognize that, part of being part of the minority community in large, is that there are a lot of different voices, and having you on is really helpful it's helpful for us, and it's helpful for a lot of our listeners because it broadens that reach.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely. And so, before I begin to ask you, Auntie, so you're vegan. What's your favorite vegan dish to cook?
I love my fried eggplant parmesan.
Okay, now.
All right. Okay.
The reason I asked, my husband has been diagnosed as a diabetic, and the last couple months we've just been on this journey of finding new foods or new ways to prepare food and learn more about food and what's putting in your body and things like that. And I don't know if I'll ever get to vegan just because it's already hard with a lot of the no sugars and the low carbs and things. And you take out the meat piece, it's just good grief, what the hell we eating? And eggs and cheese.
Vegan is good.
But yeah, and I've had vegan dishes, but the day in, day out, I think it'd make it even harder, at least at this point in the journey, because we're 2 months in, to take out meats and dairy right now would be, because everything that's a substitute for almost like breads and things like that is the cream cheeses and mozzarella cheese. It's crazy what I'm learning, but I always like to listen even maybe more intently now of the vegan recipes and what people are eating, because literally our life is revamped right now.
You should
I'll
try
send you
doing
some good stuff.
Okay,
Say that
and send it to me too, because
I will.
Because Fizz and I do Meatless Mondays now, and so we've been doing this for about a little over a month. Every Monday.
What are you eating, girl? Because you only eat meat and potatoes.
Let me tell you. So let me tell you.
Wait a minute. No, just so that you know.
No, yeah.
This one over here, she don't eat one of vegetables.
Wow.
No broccoli, no peas.
They ain't lying.
I eat
no butter
broccoli
beans,
and peas,
no lima beans.
Broccoli and peas is on the list. That's
okay.
One of the handful of vegetables I eat. But what I found, we have a quarantine crew, and every Thursday we do family dinners. And pretty much everyone that does a family dinner, we all live on the same floor in our complex.
So cool.
And it's literally the only neighbors that I know in my building. But so we do a family dinner every Thursday, and one of them is vegan. And we've made the conscious effort because every Thursday is someone else's house and they're preparing the dinner to make sure that there is a vegan option for that person. And so it has also forced me to make sure that I am learning different types of vegan, meals, which in return has helped make our Meatless Mondays that much better. My brother-in-law is also vegan too, so now I feel like more I want to have him over for dinner. I'm like, I can cook for you now. Like, you don't got to bring your own separate little dish. And let me tell you, like, the Impossible meat,
those are good,
that has made cooking and thinking and making other dishes so much easier. Like, I made like this vegan meatloaf. Man, that shit was flame. We ain't gone back since. Like, I've never made it since then with regular ground beef. It's just always been with the Impossible meat.
Do you like Impossible better than Beyond?
I like the Impossible a little bit better, like, even though it's literally like a gram or two of protein less than the other, you can really taste the difference. But I found that, like, with the Beyond meat, if you just add more pepper to it to help balance with that saltiness, then it makes it a lot, and it's just as good. So.
Yeah, it's because the Impossible has heme.
Yeah.
That heme in there makes it taste more like yummy, chummy, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. But I usually I do like a lot of American inspired. Like, I'll do burgers or pizza or tacos. I did fried mushroom cheesesteaks with like melted mozzarella and a sriracha mayo.
Okay.
Homemade fries. Last night I made an alkaline soup, which is like detoxing the lymphatic system.
I saw that on your gram.
I saw that too.
That looks so good.
It was so good. That was actually my first time making that, but I was trying to make something that could last over a few days because I've been really busy. And I have to like go back and watch a ton of stuff and do a lot of recording. But I try to do like things that I like to eat when I was eating meat. So I try to like remake those things to make it good for like if people that do eat meat come over, they can eat it too. And usually they're just like, oh my gosh, like this is so good. Like,
how long have you been vegan?
6 years.
Okay.
I'll come through.
So like bacon burgers, bacon with pancakes, like spelt pancakes. Like I make vegan food for people that are not vegan if they like stay over and they don't know. Like, my friends be like, yo, this is so good. Like, did you fry it in vegan grease? I'm just like, vegan grease, really? Like, come on.
You're right.
Like, oh my gosh.
I think the biggest hurdle for a lot of people, what stops people from, or at least personally for me, the biggest reason why I never gave vegan or vegetarian a chance, because I just felt like I would have to go out of my way to prepare it. But once I realized that it actually wasn't much fucking difference, I was like, oh wait, so I can take care of my body just as way as I would harm my body with the regular shit.
And
I was
herb,
like, okay, like, this is crazy. I ain't giving up chicken. It ain't never happening.
Right, I know that's right.
I ain't giving it up. I'm a nigga.
So you gonna have to taste my fried chicken though. I tricked 3 of my family members and they didn't know on Thanksgiving that it wasn't fried chicken. And it was crispy, hard fried. And my grandfather was like, God damn, girl, this fried chicken. Maybe you gonna go outside and eat a cigarette real quick.
I got a cigarette.
That's what
like,
a good
please
fried chicken
eat your
would do
chicken
to you,
first. He got the hot sauce.
Yeah.
And my grandmother's like this.
Salty.
It's not even chicken food.
Right.
She'd have called him a fool. I was like, you shitting me. This is goddamn fried chicken. You ain't got your glasses on. And I'm just like, that's not fried chicken, Granddad. I'm sorry. He was like, well, I heard you frying it. Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I want to, because I've never tried, like vegan chicken or anything else like that.
I trick kids all the time. Like, my friends' kids, I trick them all the time. Spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not going to Chick-fil-A. I got you right here. They'd be like, ooh, this is so
we ain't going to
good.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, but you know how I have this one friend that's like, I'm still going to Chick-fil-A, and I'm just like, well, if you and your kids come over here with Chick-fil-A bags, you will be eating in your car.
throwing that shit in the trash.
We don't do that. We don't
Not get out your hand.
No, for real.
Like that last.
Kids and all.
Look, I might let you
bite.
in. I might let you in with the sauce. If you bring some of the Chick-fil-A sauce, you
that
might.
buffalo sauce there is so delicious.
Look, you might be able to bring that in there, but you ain't bringing that food up in there.
Dead
I
to
haven't
me.
even thought about
Dead
it
to
so
me.
long.
Dead to me.
Too.
But if you guys, you know, because I go vegan basically every year for the first 6 months, and there's a website, and we're not getting a promo for this. I just love this girl's recipes. She's based out of Brooklyn, and she has a YouTube channel called Sweet Potato Soul, and it's all vegan dishes. And she has really great sweet potato soul, and it's not just, you know, about sweet potatoes. There's sweet potatoes and a lot of stuff, but like she's evolved she's been doing this for a number of years, and she has a great YouTube channel, shows you how to make everything. She has like really great recipes, like how to like, you know, shop for vegan foods for like a whole week for like $50, like really great. Like here's the grocery list, here are the things, here's how you make the dishes, here's how you prep. Like she does a phenomenal job. And I've tried, I can't even tell you how many of their recipes, and they all are slamming.
And that's a good thing now. It's just like another thing that we're discovering is there's just so many more options out there now. There's so many more companies that are aware of veganism, diabetes, keto, low carb, and things like that I just wasn't looking for 2 months ago, quite frankly. And now that like I'm learning, and we're both learning, it's been kind of fun in a way to kind of scavenger hunt and be like, oh, you know what? I found this thing. Like even the other night. So like obviously Corey is my husband. He's launched his own little kind of thing to keep himself accountable more than anything. So I'm like, thank God you're putting these meals out there, because it's keeping you accountable, and people are chiming in and telling their struggles with it as well. So this tastes good, Corey. There you go, boo. You're welcome. I plugged you. This tastes good, Corey, on Instagram. But even the other night, the hardest thing I'm thinking for him has been pasta. Like Corey just loves pasta, and you can't eat that as a diabetic because the carbs convert to sugar and all that stuff. So it's been on this hunt to try to find almost a replacement for that, which is
chickpea pasta.
You know, but even the chickpeas are higher in carb than you think they are. And so that's the journey. And literally he's like testing things now at this point where like, okay, I eat this, let me test my blood sugar. Oh man, that made me spike to whatever amount, or, you know. And it's been interesting. But he found this like edamame pasta that it still spiked him a little bit, but not as drastically as some of the other things. And so it's just been this interesting journey that we're on. So even community, if you know recipes of vegan and things like that, let's share it as a community to help each other out. To, you know,
speaking of sharing, I gotta shout out my family, because 2 of my cousins, they're vegan as well, and they got their own like web series. It's called The Turn Up Crew.
Okay.
And so it's literally turn up, like you know,
turn it or turn up.
Turn it. The Turn Up Crew. But yeah, you know, but again, they're Black vegans as well too, and you know, they have an Instagram and everything too, where they just go over like meals that are plant-based meals only, you know, and I mean, it's just great to just see us, you know, because that's hard. That's a hard thing to break in Black culture too.
Absolutely.
Like that's a whole package on its own. Breaking the habit of like giving up pork. You know, like fried chicken. I mean, like, because everything is just so greasy and fatty and like
delicious.
Gives you the itis.
It is.
You be ready for a nap.
You sure
like,
do.
Facts.
It's hard to give up, you know, but it's great to see us, you know, again, kind of like going back forward, like breaking some of those generational curses, you know, because that's how our people are going to thrive and survive and be better in the future, by making sure that we are creating that social norm within our community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But all right, well, Eve's gonna be with us the whole episode per usual. So Tom, you know what it is. Let's loosen them shoulders up. I see you, Dewan. Ow. Okay, what time is it?
Because it's all black.
Right?
I'm thinking, but ain't nothing happening.
Okay, what time is it?
Ask
your
auntie.
Oh man, who wants to read it?
All right, I got All right. This one isn't as long as it was last week.
Oh, girl. She had a part 1 and a part 2.
Girl,
We writing soliloquies. Iliads and the Odysseys up here about these situations. But keep them coming, people.
Yes.
Ask your aunties at minorityareport.com.
Yep.
AYA.
AYA.
Okay, so the guy dumped me on Friday.
I know it was written word. That first sentence was
that
weird.
first sentence.
I was like, did I cut something off? Okay, yeah, that's right. All right. The guy who dumped me on Friday's birthday is next. Wait.
Yes, you read that right.
The guy who dumped me
on Friday, it should be.
On Friday's birthday is next week. That is worded really wrong. I think what they meant to say is this guy dumped me and his birthday is next week. His birthday is on Friday of next week. And this ended up being too long. So his birthday is next week, Friday. I'm sending him a condolence card that says, sorry for your loss. Petty, I know. And I've had time to change my mind, but the idea makes me happy. What have you guys done to get closure over a relationship?
Eve, since you are a guest, we're going to let you have the flow first.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm ready to hear this.
So, the best thing that I think that I've done to get closure is take out all their best friends to the spa, because no woman is turning down spa. Now, the second thing is you can take out their mama to the spa.
Oh.
Because 9 times out of 10, if they was in a relationship with you and they broke up with you, they haven't told their mom yet.
Oh, you don't want this all the way.
So then you put in the brownie points, and then they're gonna have to have a conversation with their mama.
Yeah, mom, what you do today?
They...
Oh, Eve took me to the spa.
This sounds like the We Can't Be Friends song.
Come on, Deborah.
Yeah,
okay, look.
Facts, yeah. No,
come on, RL and Deborah.
Now, my question is why, I heard they're sending a car, but why not send a jackass cake to the mom too?
Ooh.
How did you get here?
No. I mean, this ain't the help, so we're not gonna send a shit pie, but jackass cake for 500, Alex, please. But yeah, like I've done that. I've also got delivered 7 different fast food places at their house at one time.
That sounds like a treat.
Right.
Well, it wasn't paid for. You know, down here you can say, "Oh, I'll pay when you."
We were missing that part.
Just like skirt. Like, what is going on? Skirt. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Like 2, 3 in the morning, because Domino's closed at 2. So if you do it at 1:30, they'll still deliver it. Just every day of the week.
Y'all getting schooled out there, community.
Exactly.
Y'all out there.
I ain't gonna lie. I am taking these mental notes right now.
I'm hoping I don't gotta use this.
Right on
that. This goes for ex-friends too. So all the people that out there voting the way they shouldn't be voting,
that
part.
We're touting some Antifa stuff. Now we got some stuff on their ass.
Get you Google Voice. Just change your number every day and just order that pizza, order that Chinese food. Wow. Like 8 different boxes and types of Chinese food. Those Chinese people be mad.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Oh, fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
But I mean, they was hungry, I guess.
I mean, and we in a pandemic, so this is the perfect time to be petty because ain't nobody going nowhere. So I mean, why not?
Yeah, and the Chinese people don't take their food back; they want their money.
Right.
Absolutely.
We just cooked all of this, and we called Grandma from upstairs where she was asleep down here to cook.
Oh no!
You will eat this fried rice.
That sounds like some collateral damage there, Eve. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like some collateral damage happening.
That sounds like some trauma that needs to be healed.
It is. I'm working on it. It's an everyday thing. Baby steps.
Growth.
Right. So at first it was like $200 worth of pizza. Now it might be like $80 worth of pizza.
Okay. We're getting there.
That's still
working my way down. Working my way down.
Is that the pettiest thing you've done after a breakup to get over that person?
The pettiest thing I've done is just change my number and move. I've done that.
Damn, just
without breaking up with them, or
Yeah, like, oh, she was just like, oh, well, I mean, so you're done. I was just like, no, you just said you were done. I know, but I didn't think you were going to say okay. Then what did you think I was going to say?
That part.
That's the one.
not
Look,
Yeah, I don't
that's
got
the
time for
one. That's
games.
the one game of double dutch
not the
I
mind
don't play.
games.
I'm just like, okay, cool. So let me gather my things. Oh, so you're going to take your stuff today? Yes. Like, U-Haul don't have to be open. I can gather my things and put it in my car. Well, okay, well, can we talk about it tomorrow? All right, yeah. You know what? You can come over on Friday. Like, say for instance, I think it was like a Wednesday or Tuesday. And I was like, you can come over on Friday after I get off from work. When she came over on Friday, I need later.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Did you know, like, was the relationship up until this point?
That's
Was the
some
relationship?
That's a G. That is.
The real G right there.
Was the relationship like you could tell the relationship was on the rocks and you guys like working on it?
So no,
but
it
then
was
she
a
kinda played this
surprise
mind
to
game, or
me.
what?
It was a surprise to me. Like, first of all, bitch, I just bought your daughter a turtle. I've wanted a turtle all my life. I could have bought the turtle for me. I'm trying to make her dreams come true and bypass my dreams. And now you're just like,
a turtle.
like, so she was just like, you know, my ex moved. I've lived in Atlanta, so I lived in Clayton County, and she lived in Gwinnett County, and she was just like, well, my ex moved back. She was like, my ex moved back in town, and I'm just like, oh, okay, is she coming to cut our grass?
But that's what you get for dealing with Gwinnett County. That's
so,
on you.
and I didn't know that.
I'm gonna blame you on that.
But I didn't know that though. I didn't know nothing about Georgia when I moved there.
See, that's some regional stuff that we all don't know about.
That's some
Right,
stuff.
I didn't know that. So she was just like, well, I mean, I'm like,
what's the name of that county again? Let me take
Gwinnett County.
Gwinnett.
It's north of the city.
Wynnette.
GWINNETT.
Oh, Gwinnett.
Yeah.
Gwinnett.
So I didn't know that. And she's just like, well, I mean, I want to see where things may go with her. And I was just like, okay, so do you want me to leave now? Or like, do you want me to leave in the morning? Because I still have to go to work. And she's just like, well, I didn't think you was going to take it like that. And I was just like, bitch, do you know my childhood? Like, how you thought I was going to take it? Like, how did you think you thought I was going to get mad? Like, no, I'm fine. Do you want me to leave now or in the morning?
Yeah.
She's just like, well, you can stay in the morning. Why? Because you want me to cook pancakes? No, I'm going to leave now. And I'm taking my pancake mix with me.
Right, that part.
You ain't getting none of this.
You ain't getting nothing.
We out.
Right.
Yeah.
That is funny.
She came there and was just like, my cousin was like, so your friend is like outside of my house. I was like, so I don't really know what to tell you because I don't live. He was like, should I give her your address? I was just like, that's the same address. You got the same address she had. I don't trust you either. Because I never even brought her to your house. So how she know your address? Because all y'all working together.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Peep that.
The
craziest thing.
I
do. The pettiest thing I've done.
I was
dating this guy.
She was ready for this one.
I was dating this guy, and like something had been off because, you know, like we had started dating, but like his best friend didn't like me. And I know I ain't everybody's cup of tea, but when you going out your way to be like, we just started dating, like let's have your best friend over for like dinner, like I would love to get to meet your best friend, et cetera, and the person ain't making no time. Then the person is saying, oh, the guy I was dating at the time was like, oh, you know, he's always busy. Oh, he don't like you, all this other stuff. I'm like, well, why ain't like me? Like, I ain't never said a word to this person. So how someone who ain't never met me don't like me? So I rolled up to my ex's place at that time, we were dating at the time. And like the front door person let me in because, you know, we were dating. So like, you know, he knows I'm a freaking, you know, in and outer. And I'll go into the place and they hooking up. I was like, oh, this all makes sense. So that clapping, this was me in the middle. Flow clap right in the middle. I said,
you know he went Angela Bassett. You know he went Angela Bassett.
I said, okay. So I turned, I walked downstairs. And instead of pushing the ground floor, I went to the ground one. I mean P1. where I know where his car is.
I'm
Here
with
we
you.
go.
I'm right with you though.
Oh no, Jarrell, what you do?
So a bitch jumped on the motherfucking windshield. I was like, you know what? Boop, dropped on that bitch. Shot at the whole thing, exit out, and left.
Yeah.
I bust the windows
Look,
out your car.
Look, that's where it came from because that was the year that we were dating. That's the exact year. That's where it came from.
Jasmine done got bitches
Look,
out here.
and that's why I ride for Jasmine. That's why I ride for Jasmine because we're bonded for life. We're bonded for life. So after that point, like we ended up breaking up and whatever like that, and we're done. So then I'm still mad. So you know what I do? I befriend the best friend.
Yep.
What?
Because I knew, like, hold on, because I knew, well, they were trying to have a thing, right? So I befriend the best friend because he's a little tiny little, you know, I was like 19, 20 at this time. So he's a tiny little black dude like me. We're about the same age. So I'm like, okay, cool. So, you know, we playing the sis game. Hey, sis. This ain't my fucking sis. But you know what? Guess what? I'm actually up in.
He
and
the
I'm
inside
stabbing.
man.
Look, I sure am, bitch. I sure was. Oh, look, let me tell you. I was occupying all that goddamn time, okay? Look, whenever they were doing something, I'd be like, oh, cool, that's cool. Let's plan something else around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Bitch, I blew that shit from the inside out. I wish a motherfucker would. Didn't stand a chance.
So I don't got the time for all that.
Oh,
I honestly don't.
I will make time.
I don't see, like, I don't have petty stories like that because, like, I don't have the energy for it. I'm just like, whatever. Are we finished? Is we finished? Is we done? Like, okay, are we done? Then okay, then my life is going on, bigger, better things. Like that's how I close shit. It's like you're gonna see me successful.
Facts,
like there's no other
fair.
option in my life. I'm going to be successful. So you're either gonna be successful with me, or you're gonna be successful without me. By yourself up there, and I'll be successful over here. Like. And you probably won't be as successful because I'll be sure to be successful.
I mean,
like,
I will say this. I'm not that person
So that's maybe
anymore.
my petty shit.
I'm not that person anymore.
I'm not either.
now.
Still out of carts.
I just, you know, I won't block or delete anybody off of anything. But let me tell you, I'm gonna stunt extra hard.
Like,
okay,
you just don't
extra
see me.
hard.
Exactly.
Like I'm telling you, I'm gonna drop that weight. I'm gonna snap back. And I'm gonna make you wish. I'm gonna make you wish and think about me on your own, just because you didn't see my picture.
Like you're just gonna see success.
Yeah.
Like success kills everybody because you get upset that they're.
You can
happy.
be petty and successful at the same time. There's success in being petty because if you pissing them off, that's success.
Hey.
So,
but like I'm not a go out of my way person. Like. I ain't got time, like, because it's taken away from my energy to be successful.
I think now that I've gotten older, I feel like that, like, since I've gotten older, to me, it's things that are more important, but man.
But at that point in time.
I was renting a different car to drive past your mama house. Like, don't play me.
So
Because I might accidentally knock your mama car mirror off and tell her that, never mind, I can't tell that story.
So, Dewan, what would you tell this person to get closure over the relationship? Because I don't know if we're giving them that good of advice so far. Him or her, or the guy who don't mean so. Yeah.
I feel like, you know, this is on the petty train, and obviously they know it. And you know, if I were to say, like, the question is, you know, what have you done to get closure or to get over a relationship? And honestly, like for me, I just say deal with it. Like there comes a point in your life where you have to decide what's important for you. And it doesn't mean that, you know, that getting dumped isn't going to hurt, that dealing with being dumped isn't going to be painful. But at the same time, you know, like you have to think about, I guess, you know, like what Corel was saying, is like, where are you spending your time and your energy? You know, and if you're spending your time thinking about ways that you can get back, you know, on this person, you know, that's taken away from your own healing. It's taken away from your ability to move on, you know, without baggage. You know, it's taken away from your ability to have, like, open the door for like a even more, you know, a better relationship for you to like come into your life and your space. I'm not going to sit here and say you shouldn't do petty shit because we're all human and we all have our own levels of growth and development. So
Amen.
I think of the petty things that were discussed today, I would a sorry for your lost card is probably
right.
That's good closure.
Healthy.
But like don't let it escalate. Don't send one.
Right.
Right.
Murder was not the case that you want to get.
I've never even in my youngest of relationships, like pre-20s, I've never had a relationship that ended badly in a sense that didn't like each other, but I never had one that ended in such a way, even if there was cheating or whatever, or never had a relationship that ended in such a way where it's just like I'm gonna go out on my way to make you miserable.
Right. Yeah. I've never done that either.
Everybody has their own experience, apparently, that's just one of a lot of different experiences you could have in life. I've never walked in on somebody like physically and they ended up cheating, so that might wire me a little bit different.
That might trigger something.
It might a little something that might require a little bit of pettiness.
You might have to turn that head backwards real quick.
That's when you get into that ponytail real quick.
I just feel like a lot of our young queer people default to, they call it petty, but I call it violence. Like we default to like making somebody feel as bad as we need to be as bad as we're feeling or as bad as they're feeling. And, sometimes you need to feel that kind of pain so that what not to do the next time. Mm-hmm. And you trying to like make that person feel that may or may not work at all. Exactly. And it likely won't give you any kind of satisfaction, especially if, their reaction to whatever you did was, oh, well.
Mm-hmm. Right. Or it won't give you the
closure. You still thinking about me.
Because now you might catch a case and now you're going to see they ask for the next year in court.
That's so true.
Duan, that was a word. You're absolutely right. And, I'm going to say this, and this is why she's beauty, she's grace, she's Miss Auntie Chardonnay. Okay.
Auntie
but
Chardonnay.
That response right there.
Auntie Chard. Yes. But I do want to say this because we've kind of gotten the feedback sometimes, like we kind of joke and kiki and stuff like that with some of these Ask Your Aunties. A lot of times we're kind of trying to make it a little lighthearted and entertain it. But these are serious questions and people are going through this. So we are aware of that. We do want to acknowledge that. But we just do it kind of just to keep it a little lighthearted because sometimes you get in these situations and these relationships that do end badly.
It's rough.
Man, like it's tough. Like you're going through it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But hopefully as you grow and get growth, you find ways to channel that in the right way is what we ultimately hoping. Yeah. But we get it. Sometimes it's hard and you might not be thinking clearly in the moment, and we've all been there, but closure is hard sometimes, but just know there's better dick in the sea. Okay, there we go. Continue to send your Ask Your Aunties AYA at minorityareport.com and DMs.
Sorry, question. Have you ever slept with somebody to get over a bad relationship? Because I've done that.
I have not done that.
Not had like vindictive sex, but like I just want I went from like being with this person or whatever to like a couple of days later, I'm just ready for something new. Just something to to all off. Sage everything with the dick. Or them titties.
Yeah, and I don't know if, thinking back, I don't think my mindset was like, oh, I'm about to go sleep with someone to get over this. But looking back at it now, you're like, that's probably what it was.
Yeah. Distraction.
Exactly.
Distraction. Booty call.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that feels hard. Like, at the end of the day, and that's why I said it before, like, at the end of the day, I don't want to, gloss over the fact that, breakups are really emotionally devastating. You know,
Mhm.
and it doesn't matter the length of time. It matters the quality of the connection that you felt with that person. Whether they felt it in response is a different story, but like what you feel. So like having to mourn that and grieve over that is really tough stuff. And sometimes we resort to, you know, some, you know, not so great behavior to get over it, you know.
Yeah.
And other times we, you know, look for distractions, you know.
I mean, that's what they say.
Some of some good distraction though.
Yeah, but you know, that's where that saying comes from, though. Like, how to get over your ex, you get under someone new. You know, like
it doesn't always work, but in that moment,
it feels
nice.
good.
It was nice.
Sure do. Look, you ain't. I mean, hopefully, I mean, if they're doing their job right, you ain't thinking about your ex at that moment.
That part.
Yeah.
That part.
I think a big thing, like with people when they go through breakups, because like as y'all know, like I'm going through a divorce. I think that a big thing when people go through being dumped, I've only been dumped twice, but what I really had to assess, even with the situation when I moved, I had to assess how toxic that relationship was. It wasn't that huge of an amount of time, but I was just like, you know what, my feelings are hurt, but that relationship wasn't safe emotionally for me. Like we may have looked great together. It may have been comfortable. It may have been a cool little setup. You know, I may have gotten a chance to have influence in this person's kids' lives, but overall, it wasn't a good place for me. And I felt that. Yeah. So it was almost like when she said it in that moment, I was just like, yeah, I'm hurt a little bit. Like I'm upset. And I was already planning to move. And she just found out that I moved someplace else while we were dating. But I was just like, you know what?
She said, "Let me pull this trick out of the bag."
Yeah, like boom.
Hey, bam.
And the number got changed like back to back. But I had to really assess that, like, while I was with her, it wasn't a good relationship anyway. And I think that the first thing that I acknowledged because I decided that divorce was a better option. And when I acknowledged that, I had to really assess, this is really not good for your health, like your physical health, your mental health. You know, it's a child that's in the mix now. Like, this is not good. So you're either going to be complicit with staying in something that's killing 3 people, or you're going to be the person that has to end this, because the other person is just like, no, we love each other. My life isn't going to be. And it's just like, you know, that's cute. But if I literally am contemplating my presence with you because of how you treat me and how you talk to me, I have to go. And I think that really assessing how that relationship is landing on you, is affecting your life, is affecting your habits, is a really big thing when people either dump you or you decide to walk away.
That's true. That's so true. Because sometimes your ego gets in the way. Like, you're like, I shouldn't get dumped, or I'm too good to get dumped, or I'm too, you know, and it's just like.
And I've always thought the opposite. Like, a lot of people see me, they're just like, oh my gosh, like, you're pretty, you're attractive, you always had a good job. And I'm just like, yeah, but my self-esteem has been shitty since I was a kid. So like, I may go get a shape up, I may wear nice clothes, I may drive a nice car, but like, I'm still working on my self-esteem. So when people dump me, the first thing that it hits is my self-esteem first. I have to keep a stiff upper lip, but I'm going to cry in the car.
Yeah, she's going to cry when she gets
home.
You know,
facts. Like, my grandmama bought me that chain. I'm going to cry in the car. Like, that's literally me fogging up the windows and everything, running through stop signs and everything to get to where I'm going. But it's like, I had to really assess, like, damn, like, you are 27 going through divorce. Like, I didn't think that I would be going through divorce, but I really do think that it landed on my ex-spouse as being dumped. But it's just like, you know, like, if we really assess this, like 6 weeks of counseling, baby, it's not working. And yes, the child that we was raising got hurt in the process, but I know that when she grows up and grows older, so many things will become clear to her. You know, like, there's 3 sides to every story and everybody has different experiences, but we really have to assess how we are showing up for people, how they're showing up for us. And even if they're able to show up for us, you know, did we get together because we were bonded by trauma, or did we get together because we fell in love? Like, I let her know, like, when I decided to marry you, I married you because you gave me an ultimatum, but because I didn't want to be by myself.
And that's tough.
Not because I was uberly in love. Yeah. And she was just like, well, what do you mean? Because I didn't want to be by myself, because my abandonment issues from my childhood creeped up.
And not everybody's real with themselves like that.
Yeah, and it's like, no, those abandonment ghosts was under my bed. And I was like, do I want to be alone again? Or do I want to be with someone that could possibly love me? Not even knowing if she was capable of loving me or not. I think just assessing how people show up for us, even in that relationship, before it gets to something bad. Like, we really have to really do some self-inventory to be honest. Like, me waking up crying in the shower every day is not how
it's not cute.
God want me to be living my life.
Right.
No.
And it's like, if I'm telling this person, and it's like, if I'm telling this person, hey, I'm not happy, and they're telling me that's a personal problem, okay, well, personally, dry your own tears later by yourself. But I think that self-honesty thing is key. Yeah. It really is.
That sounds like a Mary J. Blige album if I ever heard one. Yes, come on. Get in this dance.
That's hard. That is hard work. That is hard work.
Absolutely.
You know, because we're wired, I think, you know, and indoctrinated into thinking that we're supposed to aspire to be in these kind of like romanticized relationships or whatever it's supposed to be. And, you know, we'll have compatibility, whether it's, you know, friendship or sexual or emotional compatibility. But if your compatibility comes at the expense of, you know, your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, all these kinds of things, you know, that's a very tough thing. And, you know, I've been there. It's a very, very tough thing to kind of, you know, figure out, because you battle in your head, like, do I stay in this situation, you know, and try to work through it, you know, and try to figure out, is it something that you can work through versus is it something that's even healthy for me? Like, those are two completely different conversations.
And sometimes you might not even trust yourself to do the work. And that's what it ultimately, because you get out of it. Do you trust yourself to actually grow and do the work to heal and grow from this? Or are you going to just literally hop into the next same one that you're doing the same shit? That's the hardest part. It's just like, wow, do I even trust myself to do the work?
That's true.
Or am I just going to be lazy and just, you know what, get comfortable again?
That's what hard. I think and that's hard too. But I also think what's also hard is being able to acknowledge that the issue could also be you. You know, because so many people are quick to blame someone else for why they're unhappy. And what people fail to realize is just because you're feeling hurt doesn't mean that someone else is hurting you. You could be potentially hurting yourself because you lack the ability to have accountability for your own actions and the things that you can control, you know,
or blind spots.
Like, people don't understand that pain can also be self-inflicting, you know. Like, it's not necessarily you stabbing yourself, but it's you choosing to be with someone who is hurting you, or you choosing not to do the work, you know, or
that pain, it gets comfortable almost in a weird way.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, it's like you're used to that kind of pain. So you seek that kind of pain because it's familiar to you.
Instead of
that part. Maybe going through the pain of bettering yourself, you know?
So, that was me. Literally, that was me.
Because that feels different.
Right.
Because that feels different. That feels really different.
Woo! That's a word right there. Come on, YoAunTeas. That's a word. And so
not on my watch.
And sometimes it just takes time to get to that point too. Like, that's the sad thing. It's like sometimes we always say, I think on some of these YoAunTeas, where we're like, oh, you just need time to go through it. And some people just need to go through it to figure it out, and then other people could hear you say, "No, Corell, that ain't for you." Okay, let me keep it moving because I trust that person tell me that ain't good for me.
Right, but, and that right there, hard, like, is someone to trust to be able to call you on yourself, and at the same time being like, "I know this person ain't saying it just to fucking say it." You know, right. Like, that's why I'm so grateful for my best friend Paul, because, like, I mean, we dated for like literally like 80 days, maybe like 70 days, like, in gay terms. That is short. Like, it's not even real. But again, that was over like 12 years ago. But after that fact, we decided to still be friends, but because we had that brief, like little dating, instance, he saw a side of me that a lot of my friends weren't able to see. So he now had that flexibility and that realness as a friend, but at the same time, that perspective of someone who saw the other side of me. So I was able to learn so much about me from him just as my friend, because as I was dating new people and I was telling him what's going on, he'd be like, now I know you as a friend and on the other side too. So so I'm gonna give it to you 100. And it took me a while to swallow that, and then it was just like, damn.
And y'all talking about the shit I say on here.
Right.
Okay, took you a while.
Okay, to process that.
There we go.
But but
hey,
once
Paul.
I started, but once I started to understand, the perspective that he had, it made me learning about myself that much more easier, because, I can be definitely very stubborn. Don't look at me like that. Like, I was ready, like I already knew what's coming. But like I've learned though to be able to accept, input or just, and listen to the word from those that I love, and understand that if they love you, that's not coming from a place of hate or harm. That's coming from a place of wanting to see you grow, And once I was able to change that way of thinking, I was like, oh, that person does love me. So if they're telling me something, that means that's something that I need to put on my radar so I can grow and get there. That's a blessing. That's someone trying to help you be the best person that you can be. Right. But not everyone can understand how to take that word from people.
And maybe that's how the closure is. The closure is growing, literally taking a step back and growing, because yes, it hurts, but okay, what can you learn from that situation? And once you learn that lesson that you need to learn, that's when the closure kind of happens, actually, in a way. If we kind of say it in a roundabout way.
Yeah, I think it's harder when you're like young, because
absolutely,
like when you're in your 20s, you're doing a whole lot of that was like the worst use of like a curse word ever. Like, where did that come from? It's like from somebody who don't know how to curse. But like, that's a whole lot of you're doing a lot of experiment. You're seeing how you can push the envelope. Like when you're in your 20s, you're trying a whole lot of stuff. So it's hard to have that kind of perspective when you're, in your early 20s and you're living every moment where it's But you'll figure it out. Let us know what you come up with.
Hang in there.
Let us know if you actually sent the birthday card and if you did anything else.
Exactly.
That's what we want to know.
We got to get to it because we're an hour 15 in, and so we finally made it to it, because it seems like we've been in political season since 2016. And so we done finally made it to the next presidential debate. Ooh, with Christopher
You said that
Wallace.
too happy. You said that too happy.
I gotta say happy because I'm about to be pissed off in a minute. And actually, I'm not even pissed off, because honestly, I knew what was going to happen going into it. The only part for me, and then I'll let y'all have it because I ain't got probably much else to say, is the only part that got to me was when he said, "Hey boys, stand back." And I was like, oh, that part and the ending part where it sounded like literally he's undermining.
Well, he said stand back and then stand by right after that.
Mm-hmm. So that part, and literally that was the only part that kind of triggered me, because we all know what that means. Mm-hmm. And then the part at the end where Biden was talking to him about how Trump was saying he would not concede the election if he lost and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, we are giving him an outlet to millions of people right now that are watching this to also undermine the election. Now, it's giving those people permission. It's just going to be a shit show. So those are probably the only two parts where I was like, oh, it's triggering me. Everything else, I was like, I knew he was going to do this because he does it all day, every day, to every reporter, to every rally he does. He did it in 2016 to Hillary. So I knew that was probably going to be a stance, just to overtalk to him, not really answer a question, and just kind of just throw random shit out there and see if it sticks, either if it's right or wrong. Do they need another debate? I personally don't think it's helpful to anybody at this point, and they're talking about doing 2 more presidential ones. Obviously, we got the vice president one coming up on the 7th, but I don't think it's going to be helpful for anything. And if anything, it's probably just going to hurt Biden more. I think he did the best he could in those situations. I'm glad he told him to shut up. I'm glad he said, make me a bicycle clown. I'm glad he said all that because you ain't about to bully me. And
Facts.
And the other thing is, like, if you're going to talk about my kids, I don't have kids, but my family and things like that on national TV like that, you lucky you ain't get punched in your throat.
No, for real, though.
Like, so other than that, I'm like, whatever. So y'all have at it, because
it was hard to watch. The number one upsetting thing outside of Trump is the moderator. I did debate in high school and in college, and that moderator did the absolute worst job ever being a moderator. The moderator is the reason why we got the debate that we got. And CNN came out with a new article that they're already changing the rules of the protocols and what the moderator is responsible for, because it lacked everything that was already required. Both parties went into an agreement. Right. Both parties went into an agreement, as far as what the guidelines were and what the protocol was going into it. And Trump clearly said, I don't care. I'm going to do what I did. The thing that I think hurt Biden was the fact that he followed the rules too closely. He stayed close to the guidelines, and it made him look passive, because there are going to be those people who see, well, how is this man going to let someone disrespect him like that on national TV? So I think some people looked at it as weakness, but it's not weakness if he's actually following the guidelines and doing what he was supposed to be doing. And the president couldn't even do that. I would have loved for Biden to be able to have been like, we both knew the guidelines. There are rules before this debate. You are clearly not. I would have loved for him to nationally call Trump out if he was going to be talking over him. Instead, he was just saying stuff like, that's not right, or like, trying to go, he was trying to go to Trump's level versus being like, I'm going to go to your level, but I'm going to do it my way. That's going to benefit me. And that's what he could have done.
That goes to your earlier point, which was the thing that I was the most disappointed in. Chris Wallace did a terrible job. He needs to be fired from every single opportunity that he's in right now, every other opportunity that he will ever be
Fox
in.
News, so they ain't about to do nothing.
But you know what I mean? Like, it just was the worst. I only, so full disclosure, I only watched 20 minutes, because 20 minutes in, I started feeling triggered. And so it's not because I didn't know what was going to happen. It's not because, I was surprised that, of the behavior. But again, I think what we talk about all the time is sometimes you have to recognize the things that trigger you. And I was I could feel my body just tense for 20 whole minutes. And I'm like, you know what? Ain't it.
This ain't it.
It ain't worth me getting all worked up. It ain't worth me like not having a good night's sleep. It ain't worth me yelling at it ain't worth it.
For real.
It just ain't worth it. So like, I cut off after 20 minutes. I agree with what you guys said. I find it super, super problematic that we had such poor moderation of this. And I think we forget that the intention of these, the intentions of debates is primarily for the undecided voters. That's what it's for. It's for the people who are trying to figure out. And the way that this came off in the little bit I watched, and, I watched a little bit of the news to get some recaps in the morning or whatever, because, she does her homework for the podcast. But I felt like whatever messaging that was supposed to go to those undecided individuals never got a chance to land. Never really got a chance to land. And I feel like, yes, there were a lot of like insightful things that we got to see about Trump's behavior. And certainly I wish that Joe kind of like showed up stronger in the sense of, more commanding. But I appreciate the fact that he wasn't, because it actually showed his poise.
Right.
It actually showed you can let the crybaby have their fucking meltdown and not let it take you down with them.
Because they would have attacked him. They would have came for him being uncontrollable Joe. He's senile.
Exactly.
Now, they would have found some way.
It was a lesser of the evil moment instead of him being able to win something. There was no winning in doing this debate for him.
And I think Joe knew because they're doing another one that he was like, you know what? I'm going to set the tone this first one through, let him hang himself. And then on round 2, I'm just going to do me because he had already dug himself deep.
Yeah.
What do you think, Eve?
So I feel like, of course, while it is for people that are like undecided, I do think that being that Joe Biden was under the Obama administration, I find that he is humble. And I think that, of course, that is something that we need after the current president. I find that it's something that we do need, but I do wish that not that he would have played the same game, but that he would have sort of restated the guidelines of what we expect to happen. I mean, of course, he still wouldn't have followed it because he doesn't follow rules. Like his brain is soft. But I do think I do think that Joe could have commanded a bit more of what he expects. I find that with campaigning, I think that we should, the people that we vote for should actually command for us to show up. And I think that even in the things that are going so chaotically with that whole thing, the people that were needing to make that decision would have been able to feel what feels better and what feels right. It was just so bad. And I was just like, what is going on? Like,
even
I
George
was like, I don't even know.
In 40 years of covering
seriously
debates, and this, he's like, I have never seen anything so terrible in my life. And I was like, you was that frank. I was like, that's awesome that you were able to be that frank on live TV on ABC.
Yeah.
Like,
or even, I mean, like, go ahead.
I mean, like my thing is like the first 2 minutes, him doing that like crackhead jaw shift, like I'm gonna need him to like get that under control. Like it was just so many things about him that was like, I think triggering is the right word. Like Dewan said, it was very like, it just grinds your gears so much.
Because there's nothing you could do or say. Like, he doesn't play by any rules.
He doesn't.
That's like he's literally made it through all the Republican primaries in 2016.
Yeah.
Did it all through that. Did it through Hillary. No one has been able to get on the stage with him and demand it. No reporter has been able to do it the last 4 years. There's no one.
This was worse, though. This was worse. Sure. Like, this was by far the worst blatant disregard for the debating process, which is you have 2 little minutes to like say your thing, and then they have their chance to say their thing, and then there's rebuttals and blah 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 blah. And he would say his stuff, and then as soon as Chris Wallace was asking, like, he was framing the question, and then he was jumping in, not even giving Chris Wallace the opportunity to ask the question, like, and even when you look, like, I looked at Fox News, and like even Fox News this morning, I was watching Fox News. I'm on the regular, but I need to catch the highlights, and they were even shocked and awe and disgusted by his behavior.
You should have seen them last night. Last night afterwards, they were not on that page at all.
They weren't
whatsoever. They were very much talking about like Biden was weak and Biden was doing the same thing as Trump, which was not even close to the truth.
Yeah.
The other big thing I want to take away from this is the fact that Trump did a good job in setting up what the rest of the election is going to look like. He laid out what's going to happen. The truth of the fact is he already said that everything's fraud. Everything is going to be lying and nothing's going to be counted correctly. It's a scam, all the rest of it. So he laid that back. But at the same time, he tried to play everyone get out and vote. But you just said that it's a scam, it's a fraud, that there's
and that all the ballots are in the river, and all of them have my name on it. I'm like,
So he said that, and he also said, he said that this isn't going to end well. Like what you were saying, Carell, at the end when they asked if you're going to concede, Biden went first and
what
said
triggers
yes,
me.
and Trump said that this isn't going to end well. And what he meant by that is that the 12th Amendment says that it then becomes up to the House,
or the Senate or whatever.
I think it's the House of Representatives. Or it's either the Senate or the House of Representatives. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
But the votes comes up to that, and it's by state. So each state gets the individual vote.
Mhm.
So the number one thing that we need to be paying attention, and I'm saying this now, September 30th, we got to make sure that we change the House and the Senate so that it doesn't go his way.
Right.
And if we do that, then I know that the Democratic Party will have at least a chance of prolonging that hearing that happened to get the new crop in, so the way the numbers don't operate in his favor. That makes so much more sense why he pushed Amy through as the Senate, as a Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is the one that decides whether or not the 12th Amendment happens.
And he pushed it through for Obamacare too, because he's always promised Obamacare, and he knows that if he finally potentially wins that, leading up to literally the day of voting, that it might help him again tout that. See, I promise you I'll get Obamacare out. Yeah, it's so dirty. Like, this is like what we read in history books of other countries.
And that part right there. And
Russia is sitting there laughing and happy because they've been trying to do this to us for centuries. They've been trying to break it where we lose trust in the process. And they finally found the one man that literally plays by no one else's rules to do it. And they are sitting over there cracking up because finally one man who doesn't play by rules is casting doubt on the process, and that's what scared and triggered me the most last night. But
the silver lining though is the process doesn't work. The system does not work because the Constitution was built for just white men at the time. So everything about the system don't work now for the U.S. today. So honestly, I like, and I hate to say this, and I hate putting this out there.
Oh, please don't end.
But honestly, I'm expecting Trump to do whatever he needs to do to get back in. He's already shown that he can, with his tax returns coming out last week, that he knows how to evade the law. He's already shown us with his tax returns.
The devil's a liar.
So if he can evade going to jail for his taxes, he knows the law when it comes to being able to stay in that fucking house. And he knows how to play that card. So this is showing how fucked up the system is. And I bet you come the next election, shit's going to look a hell of a lot different.
Hey, can we talk about Chicago and Boystown?
All right. But let's shout out Kamala. Kamala eat Pence's ass. Nope. No, like, I hate saying pause, but like not the nasty way, not the good rim job kind of way. Eat his ass. Say what Biden can't say on the stage because Trump won't let him. So that's what I'm expecting.
I want to say is be careful because I don't want them to paint the mad, crazy black woman.
Oh, they're going to anyway.
Right, exactly. So I would love her.
Get it in there.
But you know what I want to do? I would love for her to paint it as the lawyer. As the lawyer, the law says. They ain't got nothing about it being black, white, or whatever. Say the law is the law, and it don't matter. They can't run with that story with her being a mad black woman.
Well, the VP debate is going to be on Wednesday, September 7th. So mark your calendars and your October 7th. Yeah, the 7th. Next week, this coming Wednesday when this episode airs. So, okay.
But
Boystown.
Yes.
Boystown /
They changed it. They changed
Chicago.
It.
Although it was
so can we tell the people what's happened?
Yeah, so I forget what episode we talked about. A few months ago, we talked about how there was a petition going around where a lot of folks weren't feeling welcoming within Boystown because of just the kind of bars that are there aren't as welcoming to the breadth of the LGBTQIA plus community. And part of that,
Boystown is the gay. It's supposed to be the gay neighborhood of Chicago.
And so we saw that article, talked about it a few weeks ago, and we kind of get the impression it's just like if folks are petitioning, even if we don't see it right now that way, people are saying they're hurt. So let's change it. Like if the name's going to help, let's change the name. And so it picked up a little more steam. And so it looks like this week they finally agreed to rename Boystown to North Halsted.
Northwest.
Which is, they could have probably chosen a better name, but
yeah.
at least they're changing it. And I'm sure people will probably still call it Boystown and things like that, but at least formally, the ball is rolling to at least hopefully change the image and the perception of quote unquote old boys town to be a little more welcoming to all people within the queer community and obviously the straight community too, but specifically within the LGBTQIA plus community, because not everyone was feeling welcoming and where you would hope to feel welcome.
I just feel like how quickly people fucking forget shit. Like, we were just having this same conversation 9-10 months ago about Progress and the fact that they were not, you know, that email leaked about them banning, you know, basically rap music and all specifically Black rap music from being played in their bars. And like, so there is already, we recognize there is already this underbelly of fucking racism that exists from the bar owners, the people that are actually taking advantage of the people that are coming there to spend their coins in their community.
Which is like the blackest like gay bar in Chicago.
Right. Like it just, it's frustrating for me when I see people getting all up in arms about, oh, well, you know, I've always known it to be Boystown and blah, 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 blah. And like, no one's taken away your memories. No one's like taking the street and like putting it into the fucking lake that's like a couple of blocks over. Like it still will be there. And guess what? Even when the name changes, you know, like it's gonna still like have the same kind of vibe. So people are getting all riled up over this like concept of, you know, like Boys Town, the name changing. And it's just like, aren't we supposed to be like fighting for equality? And if somebody is saying that this is not making them feel welcome, that we should be the first ones in line to be able to say, you know what, my brother, my sister, my friend, you know, however you identify, we want you to feel as safe as we feel here. And I'm going to use whatever privilege that I have, whatever energy that I have to make sure that this is as welcoming for you as it is for me. We should be the first ones doing that.
These are the same people who I talk about every Pride Month, and I love calling these bitches out. But it's the same people who don't know who Marsha P. Johnson is and who Sylvia Rivera is. Like, you don't get a fucking Boys Town. You don't get a Boys Town without them. You know, that's not how it fucking works. You know, like so many gay men, specifically white,
you can say it louder, because I'll say it.
Specifically white
gay-ass men, preference gays that live in fucking Chicago that got one black friend and think that all of a sudden they're down with the people, but they just got a token black friend because they don't really they're not really down for people. White gay men, I'll say it loud.
But they're so quickly to forget that all of their privilege stands on the backs of two trans women of color. So as you're so quick to think about boys and gay men, you wouldn't have anything without trans women.
Right.
So, I mean, and it don't make no sense. You know, so everyone has been up in arms about it. I'd be like, I see you, I'll clock you, you out, because I know exactly who you are. I ain't got time for it. You know, like if you honestly think that your needs or your memories, as great as they may be, and myself included, but if you think that your memories are more important than someone's physical experience that is negative and harmful and hurtful on a regular, is more... You are a selfish fucking bitch, and you deserve to get cursed though. Period.
This is the white gay.
Yeah.
This is the gay.
No. I'm from GI. That's how we do.
I know.
That's exactly how we do.
This is the white gay equivalent of, you know, like kneeling is offensive to the flag.
Yes, it is.
This is the same equivalency. Yeah. You know, like people getting up in arms about the name of a neighborhood, but don't care about the spirit of the neighborhood and fixing that shit. Like you so worried about like a name, which means absolutely nothing, right?
Well, I mean something, that's why they're changing it, but they're not taking a step back to actually look at the root of the issue. You know, they just want things to stay the same, but it's like, no, people are telling you the name is offensive to me and I don't feel welcome here. So if you take a
we
step,
ain't making America
it's like
great.
Sidetrack is still gonna be there, Roscoe's is still gonna be there, you know, like
the bars ain't going nowhere.
So like you're gonna get drunk and kiki down the street the same way you have all the time. So it's like
you'll be a hydrate Saturday night every damn day.
Right.
So just like they couldn't wait.
Oop,
just
steamies.
like the
I'm probably gonna
just
go
like
though.
they couldn't wait to get back to progress. I've been seeing them pictures. I've been seeing them pictures. I see all y'all up in there. I've been watching the Facebook and I've been seeing it. Mm-hmm. And what has progress done for Black people ever since that happened?
What have you done for me lately?
Oh, nothing but take your coins.
And right,
oh, okay.
but when they were
okay.
supposed to be working with the community, you know, that
Supposed
was
to
part
be.
of.
And somebody let
we
us
ain't heard
know.
nothing about that.
And if they have, let us know honestly, because I haven't been paying attention to it. Because like once it was done for me. But if they actually have, I want to acknowledge that, because that, once again, if we're going to preach growth that we try to do in the Ask Your Aunties and stuff like that, if they are trying to show growth, let us know, and we will promote that. Because
show us the receipts.
Exactly, we need the receipts though. But if they are actually taking the steps to grow, I want to know, because that shows, okay, you actually are doing what you said, and your actions are behind it. But
I'm gonna be in Chicago this weekend. I want to roll through just to see. I'm gonna be in Chicago. I want to roll through, just be like, oh, what's going on?
What's going on?
What?
When the receipts
don't be sending look, and don't be sending us no
receipts.
don't be sending us no memos of them playing rap music where you could be, you know, that's not what we're talking about. Just because
like, I want you to help the community. If they were backing like this name change of Boystown, that's growth. That's, you know, and things like that. That's what we need. Like, I know they were originally going to partner with the black male course there in Chicago as well. I do remember seeing that shortly after. So I might need to just reach out to them, just see. But we need to see those steps, because it's just like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm sorry that the email leaked. Okay, come back, please. No, that doesn't work. We need to see how you're investing in our community.
I will say, I do like what one of our mutual friends, Jake, said about the name, you know, that they're changing it to. Like, I felt like the name definitely could have been more of an inclusive name to make the point of diversity and inclusion to the community. Like, if you're going to go to Boystown, it should have been something still within the queer realm. It should have been something within the queer realm that really represented all of us, you know, which is the point of changing the name. And I feel like, well, the reason was, well, instead of just saying boys, let's just say something that's just still regular, versus actually
like
giving
everything
a damn.
else. Like, I mean, you think of like the Castro, that's the name of the street. North Halls is the name of the street. Like, so a lot of the other gay areas are
right. But I mean, those have been what they are from the get-go, but they never had the issue of Boystown. And so this was a chance to now create a new foundation of how to create these neighborhoods. Because I felt like this could have been an opportunity for other cities to create neighborhoods, and it was a missed opportunity by just saying North Halstead. You know? So I think they could have done something with the name, but
honestly,
I'm glad it's not
most of the
Boystown
time I
no
never
more.
called it Boystown. I was just like, oh, I'm going to sidetrack. Like, I don't think I rarely called, oh, I'm going to Boystown. I was always.
And you know what?
I said the neighborhood. I always.
And you know what? Truthfully, I mean, that neighborhood is getting less and less gay every year that goes by. Like, you know, you walk down that street, you know, on the weekends, you see more strollers, you see a whole, like, it's becoming less and less of a gayborhood, you know, like outside of the bar scene. It's becoming quite less of that and more of, you know, like what every other neighborhood.
Suburbia and gentrification and
I ain't been there in 3 years, y'all.
Really? It's been that long?
It's literally since that market days, that 2017 market. That was the last time I've been in Chicago.
I hope by this time next year, I hope by summer next year, we're back to traveling so that we can do like an AunTeas weekend for like for market days. That would be a lot of fun.
I need a market days in my life so bad.
Right. That's August.
Hey Eve, you said you're from the DC area. What's the DC area called where the gay neighborhood is? Is there a gay neighborhood in DC?
That's DuPont.
It's like DuPont
Circle is like the hub, and then it sort of just spreads out from there, like Fab Lounge and stuff like that.
But even like DuPont, I mean, there are a lot of like gays
that
live there,
like
but
it's
like
be.
It's not like what it used
like
to
when
be at all.
I went to Duke Ellington, and it used to be really a lot more gays, and like now you can go through there and you may see a flag or two, but it's not as present as it used to be.
As gays have become more the norm, whatever that means, the quote unquote, it's just like a lot of almost integrated. Like integrated. A lot of the hubs culturally had kind of disappeared. And it's like, it's this yin and yang. It's like, that's what you fight for. I want to be seen. I want to be integrated. Da, 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 da.
Right.
And then your culture
You
kind of
lose the community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's sad in a way, but it's good in a way. And I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm glad they changed it. And we saw today as well, Miss Serena Williams had to pull out of French Open due to Achilles injury, which I don't blame her. I've ruptured my Achilles. The worst pain I have felt in my life, and that was a year of my life of surgery and rehab and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So at her age, to try to still compete for this record, I'm glad she pulled out, because you don't want to mess with that. That injury sucks so bad. But it just sucks. It's like, damn, this year was a wash.
And she just turned 39 too.
Yeah.
It's like, happy birthday, bitch. You got older. Like,
right.
you're about to be 40.
The body said, bitch.
But this is good, because she's the kind of chick that she will sometimes fight through some things.
Yeah.
You know, so this is really good that she's like taking her time, like
Listen
make sure
to
that
your
she's
body.
really healed. And
See, that's not what I got from it. Here's the thing. I don't think the injury is as big as she says it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about she pulled out like the championships. Oh, it was last year when she pulled out of the championships of like the Cincinnati Open, whatever, when she was supposed to play Andrea Beyescu the first time in championship, and she pulled out for the injury. And then literally like 2 weeks later, she was playing the US Open and made it all the way to the championships, and then she lost. It reminds me kind of that injury as well. And I say that too because we also know clay is her worst surface. The French Open is her worst.
And the surface this year is like mud. It's like cold and
muddy,
rainy.
right? And sliding and stuff like that. It's like Carell said, it's not the time to be playing because it could have been worse. So I think it's probably something small where she's just like, you know what?
Let's hang it up for the year.
Right, exactly.
I'll see you in Australia.
She said in her pre-tournament conference, I'm one of those tennis persons. I listen to literally all the top tens, like post-match speeches and everything. She even said in the pre-match, on the pre-tournament, she said, I'm at 100%. She even said it then, I'm at 100%, but I'm going to do it my best. She said, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think I could compete.
Yeah.
She won on Monday, right?
Yeah, she won.
She won on Monday.
She looked decent on Monday. Like, I mean,
that first set was, but then she bageled her the second set, and I was like,
because
she is.
What's her name? Christy On or something. Like, she always plays her pretty solidly for a set, and then kind of disappears.
Tails off.
But
the stamina's not really there.
So Naomi ain't there.
Yeah.
Coco lost today. Serena ain't there. Venus lost in the first round. So I don't know who I'm rooting for on the women's side.
I'm not rooting for anybody.
I'm trying to think. Maybe
Azarenka.
I kind of like Halep, so maybe I'll root for her. I was rooting for Azarenka, but Azarenka lost too, so I'm like, damn.
Azarenka is the person I go to. I think the only other person I'm probably rooting for is like Garcia, Caroline Garcia. I like her too.
Different on her.
And then Muguruza. I think I'm kind of rooting
ever
for
since
her.
she's Serena, I don't like Muguruza.
Yeah.
I
mean, like I'm rooting for her.
Still holding on to that one.
Just because she was up there, she fell off, and she's kind of doing that comeback. You know, she's trying to build back. But other than that, like I don't really care.
The women's
I'm kind of like, I'll stick to the man.
And I'm team
Big Booty Judy. Yeah, I love me some team. He is sexy.
I don't even eat ass, but I'm over here being like,
no.
I don't even do that.
But you know who he played Jack Sock today, and I'll be forgetting Jack Sock got cakes too.
He do.
He got cake. I was like, look at these two cakes just all on the court.
And he got that beard too that you can just sit on. He grows a nice little beard too.
I was like, this is a good ass match today.
Look, y'all remember that 90s? You remember the little twirl wheel as a kid where you sit and spin on?
Yes, sit and spin.
Yeah. He got a face.
Sit and spin.
He got a face that maybe just want to do
he
that.
Got a face. He got a face.
He got a face.
He got a face. He got a face. He got a face. He got a dunk. He got a dunk. Oh, Lord. And what else we did? Oh, we didn't even say National Podcast Day is today.
Oh,
so
yeah.
please subscribe to tell your family and friends and all that shit. Thank you for supporting us for the last year and a half. Like, the journey's been crazy, and we appreciate your support. So
Yes.
shout out to Upright with Eve for the podcast. So we love that, and all the other podcasts that we've had on here, Gayish, and I can't
wasn't
think
there
of all
one
of them
other
right
thing
now.
too that we wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I was just throwing that out there before. I forgot again.
The people that's the face of Gucci. Was it Gucci?
Tyler, the creator, and ASAP.
ASAP Rocky.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's another one, community. If you remember, we talked, and I think it was maybe the end of last year-ish. We were talking how
with the monkey
did
chains.
It was a black face.
It was
something
turtleneck.
It was a few.
It was two things. It was two things. It was the monkey. It was
like H&M did something and Gucci did something.
Right, because I think
the
Gucci
monkey
had
on the T-shirt. H&M did the monkey with the right. It was a little black boy with a monkey on his thing, and then Gucci came out with the black turtleneck that had the
monkey lips. Yeah.
So when you pull it up, it was big red lips.
Yeah.
Right.
But they blackface.
And then they also had like the little keychain too. They were the same ones because earlier that year they had the little clip-on keychains that were going to that was on the purse too. Like that wasn't the first time that Gucci hadn't fucked up. But
so now they got ASAP and Tyler. So how are you feeling, Eve, on that? Because I know you have brought that one up.
So I've been following Tyler, the creator, for a while. But I do find that, you know, when people are evolving and they're trying to find their brand, sometimes both of them actually seem a little bit lost in the sauce as to what they morally will stand in and not go against. Even with like their circles and stuff like that, sometimes it can be a little bit questionable. Right now, I think they straight up cooning. I'm not even gonna lie. I find that, you know, when brands cross you once, that was their time to cross you. Don't spend your money with them. So it's almost like, okay, so you couldn't have pulled up on nobody else and said, hey, let me be the face for you. Like there's a plethora of brands that would love to have these two artists be influential in what they do and what they put in front of the people that consume their products. But I'm just like, out of all, Gucci didn't need any black faces, whether they were creating them on their clothes, creating them on a mask, a t-shirt, a keychain. They didn't need any more black faces because I found that what they've actually done with them was enough for all of us.
So
I mean, I'm Poe, so you know I ain't shopping them anyways. I don't got the coins to be buying their shit to begin with. But I kind of agree with you though, Eve. Like I feel like they're being used, you know, to save face, you know, and they don't see that they are actually helping the white man do more harm to us. Right. Like, and it kind of go like the Boystown, you know, like we talk about progress. Like in order for me to support them, I need to see them actually doing work for our community to bounce back from that. And changing the face from a fake racist black face to a real black face ain't changing the culture.
It's worse.
Right. It's just literally making it easier for them to hide their racism.
Yeah, because those inanimate objects didn't have followers, but Tyler, the creator, and A$AP Rocky, they have millions of people that follow them that they're supposedly setting an example for. So even if you just take their age bracket and you look at those people that, you know, it's a lot of scammers. Shout out to all the scammers that's up in Gucci. That's the way you choose to spend your money. Make sure you pay off your mama's house first before you go to Rodeo Drive.
There we go.
But either way, it's like a lot of them are up in Gucci spending all of this money, and now they're going to think that it's better and uberly okay to continue to do so, because it's like, well, shit, look at A$AP Rocky, look at Tyler, the creator. But y'all don't see nobody putting no oil on A$AP Rocky's locks. So he's obviously not black enough. So we're going to leave him where he is.
You know, like I think, Jarrell, you nailed it too. It's just like, for me at this point, especially this year with all this social unrest, like we need receipts. What are you going to help our communities? Yes,
and intentions.
Exactly. The intention is just like, if your intention is just to give two black men another contract like any other year, that's not good enough. That's not good enough for me. And it's just like,
I have to chime in just a bit because Gucci did, in wake of what happened, did launch a huge social equity program. Created director roles around the United States, the European Union, and places where they sell, Latin America, Asia, et cetera, that are focused on diversity and inclusion, and making sure that there are seats at the table that inform decisions around overall brand presence, design, marketing, et cetera.
So they got them with Jamal. So they got them with Jamal, the intern.
Well, I'm just giving you the rundown.
Did
They
get
also
rid of
have
the person that made the monkey turtleneck though.
that I don't know, but what I do know is they also have a program that specifically invests in small, specifically Black apparel and fashion retailers that are coming up, to give them a leg up and provide them mentorship and provide them opportunities to sit in on the creative process so that they can learn from from Gucci corporate in Milan. So and this is just like some of the things, like they have been, and I'm not saying this excuses their behavior, so let's just be clear, but I don't want to minimize the fact that they haven't put their money where their mouth is. They've pulled millions of dollars into specifically Black creatives to invest in their dreams and align them with mentors within the industries that can help elevate their brands, their presence, and again, invest in those particular.
That should be their
companies.
marketing
That's great.
campaign.
Right, I was gonna say, because I love that. I think that's awesome. That is completely awesome, and I think that's a step in the right direction. But us in the community aren't fortunate to have Auntie Chardonnay who knows that this is happening. This ain't stuff that they're marketing. This is stuff that they're saying that they're doing to save it. So that kind of goes back to the whole receipt stuff. It was like, it would be nice to know that this is what's happening. And also see the end result, because there's a lot of, because companies will start some shit to save face so people can quiet down. And once the noise quiet down, that shit fades away.
Or once the person that's spearheading it leaves to another company, then that initiative left with them as well.
Right. I need to see the top of the receipt to the bottom of the receipt.
You need the timestamp.
I think
I don't care if it's as long as CVS. It can be as long as
you need the survey. Fill out this survey and get entered to $1,000 sweepstakes.
Look,
I do love the question that Eve is raising with this. About when we have celebrities specifically that are Black collaborating in any kind of public way with companies that have had troubling histories, and this recent history. So this wasn't like 20, 25, 30, 50 years ago.
It was like 2 months ago.
It does raise some questions. Like, one, it raises a question, from a Black perspective, do we take that incident or those incidents and say, we're not going to fuck with you anymore? I know I personally, this year, like, I've practically gone broke investing in Black and Black businesses, fashion businesses, accessories, like shit for home and all that stuff. Like, I've now like diverted a lot of my whatever spending that I was doing with mass retail or even luxury retail, which I don't have a lot of that, but she does a little Tom.
I was about to say, come on now.
Okay.
you ain't gotta front.
but outside of that, like, for me, like my commitment is, rather than me chasing after those things that they are telling us that we should be liking, I want to be chasing after supporting my Black brothers and sisters that are trying to get their own come up.
Support Fenty. Like, Fenty's about to do that, that show, and got the boxes and shit like that.
When this comes out today, y'all, you can go on Amazon Prime if you have it, and you can see Rihanna's Fenty's 2 show.
And she's an example that she's
a men's underwear line.
Exactly. Got Puff Daddy's
T-shirt with no panties on.
I saw some of them. I don't know. Like, I kind of like the more like the boxer briefs and the briefs, and it looked like they're like the old school like long briefs, and then like a smoking jacket kind of thing.
That's what I like, because it
You like
looks
the
like a
smoking jacket?
kimono. You know, she loves herself a
You do.
kimono.
So I mean, that like there's opportunities for the Tylers, and I don't know what I know. Rihanna reached out to A$AP Rocky for the skincare line because I saw him in some of that stuff. But there's other brands specifically that are doing well. That you know what? Let's go all in on them.
Yeah.
Because at least they know our experience. They're betting on us. They're going to have the necessary diversity at the tables, hopefully. To not do us any kind of way. To be putting
Is
this
there
kind of
like
stuff
that
out
it
there.
definitely
like an
goes
old-
back to them knowing themselves, though, because I
Yeah.
find that they
Yeah.
have seemed like they've been like, do I want to step over there? Do I want to step over here? Just like be sure of where you are going and who you want to follow you on this journey, because all of the people that follow you may probably be like, dude, we didn't know you was going over there because we haven't been purchasing from them. So it's almost like you want for your people to really be able to know, like, I know Eve ain't about to be going over here. You know, I haven't brought anything from Gucci since those things happened. And I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'll just support all of my friends' businesses that make really nice, fine clothing. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of my other friends that are just like, shit, when I go out Vegas, I'm going to Gucci and I don't care what nobody. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, that's on
That's
you,
your
then.
business.
Do you guys feel like there's think about like the old like black fashion brands like Fubu, Cross Colors, Baby Fat,
Fubu.
you know, like it's like, is there an old Sean John, like is there like an old brand that you would love to see have a comeback? Like an old black brand.
Trans Lee just, like my friend Trans Lee just put out Carl Kanai. Just put out a Bring Back Fubu song this summer that was kind of hot down here in Atlanta. I would like to see Fubu back just because I'm all for it. Sean John still has shit out. I saw a track jacket the other day that I was like, ooh. I was like, that's dope. But I was like, do I want like a big bastard Sean John on me anywhere, you know? The jacket was dope.
The only thing I didn't really care for about a lot of those brands back in the day is that they plastered the brand name over the entire thing. And it's just
you gonna
like,
know this shit, Sean John.
And it's just like, I mean, like what I love about like brands like Fendi, they have like their F pattern or whatever. Like I find that it's more graphic than it is like just saying Fendi, you know, or Balenciaga or Gucci or whatever, you know, like I don't, and you know, insert, you know, other brands there. I don't like the idea of like brandishing somebody's, you know, name all over.
Same. I don't either.
Yeah.
Same, man. But
I wouldn't mind apple bottoms coming back for men.
Boots with the fur.
Apple bottoms for men.
Low.
You know,
that was Nelly. That was Nelly's brand. Shout out to Nelly with his fine self. He
looked cute with the Dancing to the Stars. I'm like, bro, you look so cute.
I told Corey last night.
He looked like your uncle trying to dance at the wedding. Though your old uncle being like,
ooh, the way he was like doing the pass doble and throwing his arm back, and it was just like,
I was like, ooh, but I was like, you fine as hell. You can get it, Nelly.
Yeah.
But Eve.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You are a delight. You got to come back because you funny as
hell.
hell.
Fucking
make it happen.
Yes.
I love y'all. Y'all.
Shout out your social so they can find.
So my socials are Upright with Eve on Twitter and on Instagram. If people want to text me scenarios, questions, 202-780-9953.
Ooh, we need to get us a number.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people these days like instant gratification, and that's, you know, I find that if someone is wanting to hear me talk about something, I'd rather than be able to tell me directly, look, you need to talk about this or give me your opinion on this, because I find that like with mental health doesn't wait. It doesn't have a waiting room. It doesn't have a hold time. It's instant. You know what I'm saying? So with these days, comparison kills. And a lot of people do a lot of comparison, and ultimately it does take a lot of people out of the game. So, Upright with Eve on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm very active on those.
Make sure you follow. Exactly.
Yes.
If anyone wants to send me an email, it's eve@uprightpod.com. Oh, my website too. It's uprightpod.com.
Yes.
She said, I'm a
entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I try.
Well, community, stay safe out there. Make sure you register to vote. This is literally like the last days.
week or day, or
to register. So please register. Early voting starts early for a lot of places right now too. By the time this episode comes out, so please get out there and vote. fill out the
Yes.
census, I think it might be the end of it. But
I
if
think
not,
They
might
just
be.
extended
Find a way to
it.
fill it.
They extended it to through October, I
Okay.
thought.
Okay.
But make sure you
So-
do
I'll
it.
confirm
and,
that and send it
Yeah.
out.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
wash your hands, your
So
legs.
wash your legs, your
And
ass.
your ass. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.